Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a Rust server in DigitalOcean. I know the last video I kind of did Amazon, but in this video I'm going to do it in DigitalOcean, and I'm also going to go through the setup again, maybe go a little slower, and then I'm also going to go through the configuration of the server of what you got to do, because there's a lot to that. And I'll go over plugins and the user config file, server config, and I'll go through all of that. So let's start off by, I'm assuming at this point you already have a DigitalOcean, or maybe you already have a server and you're just looking to how to install it. You can jump around this video, but I'm just going to start right out. So I already have a server up. Let me, so virtual machines in DigitalOcean are called droplets. And every hosting provider is kind of similar, but DigitalOcean gives you kind of full access. I know there's like I said this last video, that there's a lot of hosting providers that will build a Rust server for you, and they do all the back end, you do the front end. This is basically full work. You have to do everything on your own, and it gives you more leverage. Definitely better. A lot of pros to doing it this way. It'll be a little more expensive, but you're probably gonna have higher ping, better servers, more access, better support too. I did move my servers off of Amazon into DigitalOcean, mainly because Amazon, Azure, and Google Cloud have a pretty expensive outbound data cost, and DigitalOcean is literally 9 times cheaper than them. But yeah, so but Amazon is like my server went from brand new server 1 person to maxed out 200 in 3 days, because everyone saw the lowest ping server, like one of the lowest ping servers on the list, and they came to me, So that's one benefit of Amazon. If you want to pay a lot and get a lot of people, they'll for sure do the trick. All right, so inside DigitalOcean, log in, go to droplets. You're going to create a droplet, little green button in the top right. And then from here, you're going to pick your OS. I'm going to do Ubuntu. I recommend you doing Ubuntu too. You're pretty sure you can do Debian and CentOS. It's just easier. I know the command's better in Ubuntu. Next, so here's the plan. There's a basic. This is going to be a cheaper option. It is going to be shared. There might be, there might be kind of like if there's multiple machines on one, they might be competing for resources. I'm not too sure how it works, and what the performance difference would be. I just went with general purpose. And if you want like a really good couple 100-person server, I would go with Compute Optimize. And then they have a couple here. I would start with this one, 8 gigs, $80 a month, and this covers all the data costs. And this is going to be a really good server, and you can go up from there if you want to max out. And the cool thing about like Amazon and Azure charge % per gig going out, and DigitalOcean has just a flat rate. They give you like 4 to 6 terabytes, which is pretty much enough for any server. If you have a 200-person server, you're going to be using a couple terabytes most likely. So for this one, I'm just going to pick this. Actually, I have to pick this one. I'm going to pick this one right here, because you need over 4, or you'll have trouble getting it started. So I'm going to pick this one here. But if you want to go cheaper, you can do multi-purpose. How much? Yeah, this 6 that one wouldn't work. Let's see basic. Yeah, this $40 a month one would work right here. That would work too. But I'm gonna do Compute Optimize, and I'm gonna do. Let's see. I can even do. Yeah, let's do. I'm gonna do this one, but I recommend CPU Optimize. But I'm gonna do this one just for this lab purpose. Okay. This should be good. Okay. All right. So leave the SSD on 1. We don't need any block storage. Their instances come with I think it's a 25 gig SSD, which is enough. And if you go up, you can actually add more later, but it doesn't. Rust doesn't use that much storage, so you're fine. And this is where you pick your locations. Hopefully they have a location that you like. I'm in Southern California, so I'm going to pick San Francisco. And their third region has the most options, so I'm just been picking that one for now. VPC, you can just leave as a default. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to put on IPv6. I don't think it's required, but I'm going to do it anyways. And SSH, you can have an SSH key. I'm not going to do this right now. It'll take too long. I'm just going to create a password. Okay, made a password. Oh, special character. What do I got to do? There we go. They have some requirements. Okay. I'm going to change the name to Rust Server Test. And they have backups. You don't need backups. I'll show you how to snapshot it. All right, create droplet. Okay, there it goes. Gives you a little bar showing you where it's at. We'll give it a sec while it creates. All right, the server finished. It only took about a minute. So let's go to this, click on it. And you can see at the top, it shows how much memory, how much disk space. And right off the bat, it gives you the graphs, which is kind of cool for later on. And then, so the first thing we want to do is we want to give access, open up the ports, right? So in DigitalOcean, everything's kind of open already. So at the bottom left, click on networking, and then we're going to click on firewalls. And oh, it's already out. I already created it, but what you're going to do is you're going to click create firewall, and you're going to copy similar to my screen here. By default, it always uses 28015 and 28016. 28015 is UDP, and the rest are TCP. 28082 is the Rust Plus app. I actually haven't used the app, but I've had people on servers asking me why it doesn't work. So I Googled it, that was the port, opened it up. Haven't dug any deeper than that. And then for outbound, I made sure I opened up all TCP, all UDP. So yeah, so inbound, you want, an SSH. You're gonna wanna put your IP address in. You can just Google your IP address, put it in, and then make sure it's on port 22. That's the SSH tool that we're gonna use to connect to it. And then yeah, so pretty much copy this if you can. And then so I'm gonna go back to droplets. I go to the test server. And let's see. All right, so next, let me see if there's anything else in here. Oh yeah, here's snapshots. I'll show you snapshots. So snapshots, like say you get it all built up. You just take live snapshot, it doesn't need to reboot, and it creates a snapshot for you in case something happens on the server. It will do a live snapshot. You can do this daily, delete the old one, do a new one, or you can do the pay the extra monthly fee to do it. But I just take it every once in a while. Let me see. Everything's good. Everything's good. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna access the server. Let's see. Where's the connect? Connect. Access. Okay. All right. So we're gonna copy. So it's gonna be the password you input when you made it, and by default it's gonna use the root username. So open up if you don't have a SSH tool app. Putty is the most common if you haven't heard of it. Just get Putty. I use something called Xshell. So let's see. So you're gonna type into connect your instance. You can just type your IP up here. If you're using Putty, there's a little area called host. I'm gonna go straight in and put SSH, and then you're gonna space, then you put the username, root, and then the IP address. And it's the right IP, right? Let's see. .52. Yeah, that's the right IP. Okay. Press enter. Accept and save. Put in your password. There we're in. Okay. So I am gonna lower this down for a sec. So right off the bat, you log in as root. Okay. So next we're gonna go to LinuxGSM Rust. You can just Google this. I'll put the link in the description. I did this on my last video too. And here it is. And here's the walkthrough. You literally can deploy a Rust server from here in like about 4 or 5 commands, 10 minutes maybe. It's really easy. It tells you your minimum. We're using Ubuntu 20 LTS. You can use these ones. It does give you some other information. But yeah, so you just click on dependencies, and basically this will install all the dependencies that are required for this to run. And if you look on it, you can see like it runs a sudo apt update. Will run a update on the Ubuntu box. It installs curl, wget, tar, a bunch of other stuff on here that are required. So just copy everything. And one sec. Okay. Okay. All right. So once you're in, you're just going to copy paste this in. You can right click, copy paste. Sometimes different shells, Control V doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, just do right click. I'm going to run that. It's going to install all the packages. Should be pretty quick. While it's doing that, I'm going to go back to the guide. They do recommend installing GameDig. It's like 2 commands. I'm not going to do that for this video. Okay, so next it talks about kind of making a user that's going to be running the server, the Rust server. So you don't really want to install it under root. So next, click on install, and it's going to have you do the add user command to make a new user. Oh yeah, press yes. There's prompts. Forgot about the prompts. Give it a sec. Press tab. Press I agree. Should only take a sec. I'll pause the video and come back. All right, it took a couple minutes, but it came up. Everything's set up and installed. So the next piece is adding the user. So I am going to control paste that in, and it says add user space username, and the one they say is Rust server. You can change this, but I'm just gonna do the same as them. Add user, and then it wants a password. I'm gonna put my name. You don't need to do anything else. Yes. Cool. Okay. All right. The next command is, let me move this up so I can see both. Huh. Come on, work with me here. Work with me. There we go. There we go. Okay. That shouldn't have been that hard. Okay. So next, you're going to super user in run super user as the new user you just made. So su and then a dash and then Rust server. Okay. Next, we're going to do the wget command. One sec. And this is going to basically install the LinuxGSM package. It's going to be a script that's going to run it. It's going to mess with permissions and do a few other things. So it's basically going to download the package, and then once it's downloaded, you're going to install it. So I'm going to copy that in. And the download's pretty quick. The install's where it takes at least 5 minutes, maybe more, maybe less. So, and then this is just the, once in there, you see this command, /Rust server. This is the command you're going to be doing everything from the console. So let's run it. And there is going to be a bunch of prompts here. I'm going to pause the video while it takes a while, but make sure you keep an eye on the prompts and just press enter or type in Y if it's not there. And then the Linux Penguin. So next is basically done. So if you pwd print working directory, you'll see that you are in the Rust server, and you want to be in the home directory to run any commands, and the main command is rust server, and it's just the username. And then here we go. So it's so to start the server, you do the command with an st on the end, sp, so it'll look something like this. St, you do that to start it. It should already be updated, but I'm just gonna check anyways. So let's see, rust, and we're gonna do, where is it? Let's see. So do something like this. If you have a server, you're gonna want to run this update on this first Thursday of every month when they push out updates. So basically, you'd stop the server, run an update, then wipe everything. Usually, it's a force wipe. So it's all good. I'm going to install Oxide right now, so you're going to run the same command and put mu. You can see right here, mu. So mu, and it's going to give me the option to choose Oxide, and I just got to type it in. Oh, that wasn't the right one. Definitely not mu. It is mi. Mi. That's the one you want. So now you're going to type in rust oxide to spell it how you see it. Press enter. Gonna give it a sec here. Shouldn't take too long, and it's good. Okay. So now your rust server is pretty much good to go. You could actually start it from here, but you need to change some configurations. So print working directory. That's ls actually. Do an ls, and it lists all the files in the current directory. And you're going to see LGSM. We're going to go to LGSM first. So we're going to do cd change directory. So cd space LGSM. And then let's see where we're at. So we're going to go to config-lgsm. ls again, change directory. So just keep going deeper, ls. And then you should get to this. So here's the path. It's home, rust server, LGSM, config, LGSM, and rust server. So the files in here are default. This is the format it is. Common is if you have multiple servers, you can kind of have them use the same. And then this is my server. So you would see the name of the server. So if I had a rust server 1, it would say rust server 1. So I am going to, and I'm pretty sure that starts out empty. So it's empty. So I'm going to copy default.cfg. So you're going to put cp space default.cfg. Copy it. It has Linux is case sensitive if you don't know. So a capital or uppercase, lowercase makes the difference. And then I'm going to put a rust server.cfg. And this is going to copy the default over to the rust server one. So, and then to edit the file, you could use WinSCP. It's honestly a lot easier. And maybe I'll make a video on that, but WinSCP is pretty easy. You can just edit it in Windows in a notepad or something. For this video, I'm just going to use Vim, and I'm going to go to Rust server. Okay, I'm going to make this screen a little bigger because we don't need the other page. Okay, so starting right off the top, if you're using Vim with me, if not, you press I to start editing. So the RCOM ports and the port I'm going to leave the same. Remember, we opened those up in the firewall. The app port, that's the port that uses the Rust Plus app. So the RCOM passwords is one you want to change. Keep this hidden, keep this secret, don't tell anybody. I'm going to do YouTube video 1, 2, 3. All right, Archon Web. So if you are using an admin tool like Rust Admin or Rusty, it says to use 0, but I know for sure Rust Admin is 1 now. They use a web version, so make sure you double check with whatever you're going to use. I use Rust Admin. I love it. It is free, and if you pay, I think it's like €8, you get like a really cool web version, a couple more features. It's really easy to use. I recommend it. And then here's your server name. This is what's going to show up on the list. And then let's go YouTube video 1, 2, 3. Probably should make the same password, but yeah, let's do YouTube video. And then the max players is how many players you want your server to be, you know, and really you're going to base this off of the server hardware and the bandwidth. For me, really, the server hardware is easy. It's the bandwidth. To have a server, it requires a lot of upload speed, and most people's home internet, it's mainly more download than upload. So if you're doing this from home, like you have your own hardware, you're probably gonna hit some bottlenecks. But we're hosting in DigitalOcean, or if you're on Amazon or any of those other ones, you should be fine. But yeah, you can choose your players here. Let's just do 15, since it doesn't matter. And then the seed. So if you leave the seed blank, it's going to choose the default map, and I'll just leave it like that. But you know, after the first swipe, you don't want the same map, so you need to pick a new map. And there's a website. If you just type in Rust maps, I think there might be thousands of maps. I don't know. You basically put a number. You find the map you like. You look at it. You look at all the landmarks and everything, like monuments, and you see what you like. And the maps get bigger. You kind of want to. I think the general rule is like, I think around, if you want a 100-person server and you have 100 concurrent users, you want at least a 4,500 size map. By default, it does a 3,000, and I think 3,000 is great. And if you got 10 friends and that's all it's gonna play, you can even go down to 1,000 or 2,000. But there is limitations. They do reduce the monuments and a lot of stuff on the map. So just take a look at Google the map viewer, and you can see. Let's see. That was the seed. Here's the size. The rest we can leave blank. And then there's a lot of like plugins and hooks and stuff you can do here. I'm not going to go through any of this. If you want to dig in deeper, you can probably find documentation. Let's see. I think that's it. So when you're done editing in Vim, you press escape, and then you press right quit. And now it's good. Let's see if we can cat that. Let's see. Yeah, everything is good. Okay, I wrote it. So next, let's go back to the home directory, and we're going to go to server files. So change directory server files, ls, and we're going to change it to server. So cd server. Okay, and if you don't know, using Linux, if you press the tab key, it'll auto complete it. Makes it easier. Change directory to CFG. ls it. Okay, there it is, the server config. So we're gonna vim that. So vim server.config, and here is some more info you want to put in. And so the main one in here is the server description, what you write. You can tell, you can pretty much say the rules in here. You can say max team size, or if you're modding the server, what mods are in there, so people can look at it and see if it's a server for them. Let me edit. Let's see. I'm just alright. YouTube. Cool. Okay. Leave that like that. And then you can put a little image in here. It tells you the dimensions. That needs to be 512 by 256. So you can have your little logo for your server, maybe it's a clan, or you can do a lot of things with that. And if you have a URL, most people will kind of put their Discord in here. But yeah, if you have your own website, that you can do that, or you can just link your Discord or whatever you want to link. And then there's a couple default values they include in here. They're not all of them. There's actually many more you can add in. And you pretty much could just write it as is, like I'm trying to think of one. Let me think. There's a bunch of them. I can't think of one, but you can basically just make sure you don't put the pound. The pound's a comment out. So you would just like if I wanted to change the helicopter accuracy, delete the pound. Well, the helicopter's too strong, so let's make it 4, because it says higher is less accurate. So that's all you would do. And you can find a lot of documentation on the different commands you can do. So I'm gonna press escape. I'm gonna save it. WQ exclamation. Okay, let's go back to the home directory. And from there, I am going to start the server so it loads Oxide that I installed. So whenever you change any of the files, if your server is already started and you change any of the files, you need to restart the server for it to pick up. And usually when you restart the server, you don't want to restart it from this part of the commands where you see a stop start. Usually you want to do what I call like a graceful stop, and you can do that in the Archon terminal, or if you're in game, you could press F1 and type in. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Let me show you guys how to add in admins and mods. All right, let's see. Let's start the server real quick. Start. Hopefully there's no errors. Fingers crossed. And we're good. Server has been started. I'm going to stop it just so it loads Oxide. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's change directory to server files. And now you see Oxide over there on the right side. Right here. So now it's loaded. It loaded everything. Let's, but real quick, I want to show you how to add admins and mods real quick. So I think it's under server. I actually don't remember. Definitely not here. So I'm going to go back to home. Where was this? I'm going to go to LGSM. That's not what I wanted. LGSM. I'm going to go to config-lgsm. Server. Where is this? All right, I totally forgot. I searched for a bit. I remember you have to make it. And I believe, let me check my, let me quickly Google it. Let's see. I'm just not sure what to call it. I think it's users.config or users. Let's see, right here. Users.config. Yep, users, edit the users.config. Okay. Wasn't sure if it's user or user. Okay. So I am going to touch users.config. So now we have a users config file. I am going to open it, vim it. So touch just kind of creates it. You can append text to it too with that, I believe. I'm just going to vim it now, open it up, and from here is where you're going to add it. And the format is you're going to put owner ID, and then you're going to put your Steam ID. And so see right here, you're going to do owner ID, Steam ID. So let's edit it, paste the owner ID in. Let me grab my Steam ID real quick. Should have been prepared for this. Got my Steam ID. Boom, Steam ID in. Let's save it. Okay. So now it's going to know that I'm the owner. And when I log in, my text and chat will be green. I'll have full control. If you press F1 in game, I'll show you guys that if you don't know, but I'll show you in a sec. And if you add mods in there too, they'll also be green. They'll have a lot of permissions. There's some permissions they can't do if you add a mod. You're gonna have to look that up though. All right, so let's go back to the home directory. Oh yeah, let's do the Oxide. So let's change directory. Go to server files, and Oxide's gonna be here. So change to Oxide, and then so there's gonna be plugins. And so in the plugins, you pwd, all you're really gonna do here is basically going to go find a mod. Let's do raid tracker umod rust. So go find it, and all you're going to do is you're going to download the file, and the file is basically a .cs file. And all you're going to do is drop that file into this path. And then once you do that, you just have to drop it into this path. And then and how you get it here, there's a couple ways. I'm not going to do it right now, but I use a website called Station 307. You basically upload there, copy the URL, type wget, and then copy paste the URL, and it pops right up. You could also use WinSCP and just drag it over. But yeah, so and you could also copy the link of the download too and wget it. So I'm not going to do that, but then once it's in there, then to load the add-ons, you have to make sure you do another restart. And then once it restarts, then you have to run, there's some Oxide command you got to run, and it's called oxide.load, and then you put space, and you put the plugin name. So it would be, so in your, press F1 or the Archon, it would be oxide.load. I'll show you the command when we get there. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. Let's see. Oh, you know what else we can do? Let's go Oxide. That's not what I wanted. Where am I right now? Oh, okay. There should be a JSON somewhere. Let's see. Let's go to oh, there it is. Oxide.config. Where am I? So I am home user server files Oxide. I'm under the Oxide, and there's a oxide.config.json. So I'm going to vim that. And in here, so let's say you install Oxide, but you don't want to be considered a modded server, right? Maybe you're just using admin tools. And if you're not unsure, the rules are, if you have any mods that modify players' gameplay, it's a modded server. But you can have mods that help admins administer the game, you know. As long as it doesn't affect the players, like a mod that, you know, turns the planes gold and it drops 10 different things, you know, like anything that modifies it, you got to leave it as, leave the flag here as true. But I'm not going to make this modded, so I am going to delete this true piece right here and we're going to put false. That's all you got to do. I'm going to save it. Okay, I'm going to go back to the home drive. So let's see the commands one more time, and then we're going to start this thing up. So st, starting up. Okay, server has started. Okay, so once you do start the server, it does take about 5 minutes or so to connect to it. Give me a minute and I'll open the game up. Hey guys, all right, so hopefully the resolution's not all messed up. I have a widescreen, but I'm back in the game, or I loaded up the game, and you can kind of go through, see all official servers, community, modded. So we changed that flag, so it should open community. And usually it does take 5 minutes, maybe more. One way you can check while waiting is pressing F1. So F1 is going to be your screen to do everything, and this doesn't look the same in game. And this is where you can make yourself some items if you're using admin tool, and show some cool facts. But you're basically going to do connect, and then the IP address, and then it's going to be :28015. That's the port. So it's going to be connect space the IP address of the server, which you can get back where you in DigitalOcean or wherever you're making your server, and then :28015. And you're going to press enter, and it's going to auto connect it. But here it is right here. YouTube video, 15 people, 34 milliseconds. It's not bad. I have the server up in San Francisco. I'm in Southern California, so it's not too bad. All right, so let's load this thing up. And yeah, so I do recommend getting some kind of Rust admin tool. It's definitely going to help you manage the server and the people. And if the larger the server you get, the more you're going to probably need help, especially if you have rules and whatnot. And then also, can I press F1 here? I can't press. Oh, I can. Okay, cool. So one thing I want to go over while it's loading is so you drop a mod into that folder I showed you. And so from there, once it's in there, it's not going to show up here yet. You got to run the oxide.load command, and there's also oxide.unload and oxide.reload. And it's going to be oxide.load, and it's going to be, like for RAID tracker, it'd be RAID tracker. So it's not going to be the .cs at the end. It's just going to be that. You got to make sure it's cap sensitive too, so it would be a T if I did do that. And you do that, it would load the mod, and then you'll be able to use it from there basically. So here I am in the server I just built. Kind of cool. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any other questions, let me know. I am mainly on my server, and if you want to come to my server, I'm under community, and search West Coast noobs. Bunch of noobs having fun. And our population, it's at 125 right now. I'm probably gonna increase it to 250. So you should be able to get in, and it usually only caps out around nighttime. So I hope you guys learned something from the video, and I hope to see some more servers up there. See you guys.